Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Good evening, Shalini. Can you please confirm if I'm audible or not? Please confirm if I'm audible or not. Okay, I think I'm audible. So thank you so much for the confirmation. Now let us begin with the session. So hello everyone, welcome to EduTap's initiative of Perspective 360 degree, where we do current affair based answer writing practice in a detailed and structured manner. So if you are an aspirant preparing for exams like RBI, NABARD, etc., then this initiative is definitely going to help you with answer writing practice for the descriptive paper of phase 2. So let us begin with the discussion. And the topic that we have chosen for today is, can ethics transform corporate governance? So this is a part of static. This is the portion of the static part of your syllabus, and we are covering it today because till today we were covering only the current affairs topic. So this is just an experiment. Let me know in the comment box. You can give the feedback regarding you want to continue these type of sessions or not. So this is a static portion from the management part. So let us begin with the session. And if you are somebody who is new to our Perspective 360 degree initiative, then let me tell you that here firstly we give you an expected question with respect to the topic, and we are going to discuss this expected question as a part of this session. And once the session is done, what you have to do, you have to write the answer of this expected question in the comment box. That will be evaluated by our team within 48 hours. So today I guess is Wednesday, right? No, today is Friday. So you have to submit your answer before Monday 5 p.m. So I hope this is clear to you. And let me also add that this whole initiative is free of cost. Now let us read the expected question for today. And so the expected question for today is, what do you understand by ethics, and discuss the importance of ethics in corporate governance. Okay, a lot of you are writing in the comment section. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, fine. So, as you would be knowing that what we do in our all our session is that before jumping directly to the introduction part has starting with answer writing, firstly what we do is we identify the keywords. So this is our regular practice for those who are new to this session. So the keywords that we can easily find in this question is, what do you understand by ethics? So the first keyword is regarding ethics, and discuss the importance of ethics. Now, can you write in the chat box whether I have identified all the keywords or not? Importance, just write yes or no, or in case you want to give some explanation, you are free to give that. Tarun Joshi is asking Monday or Sunday. Actually, Sunday is the holiday. It's not a working day. So that's why I've said Monday. Monday 5 p.m. So tell me whether I've given all the keywords or not. Importance of ethics. Yes or no? Okay, everybody is writing no. That's good. It means you are understanding the approach. So what I'm missing over here is that the question is not just about the question. The first keyword is right. It is about understanding of ethics or the meaning of ethics. And the second keyword I have written importance of ethics, which is an incomplete identification of keyword, because the complete keyword is importance of ethics in corporate governance. So this is how identification of keywords helps you to analyze the demand of the question in a very precise manner. Yes, Tarun, you are right. So this now we have identified the keywords, and now we can move to the next part. And let me also tell you that while you are answering this question, a lot of students make this mistake. So let me highlight that while you are answering this question, if the question has been divided into two parts, so you have to give equal importance to both the parts of the question. What many students I know will do in their answer is they will write what do you understand by ethics in a very light manner, maybe a part of introduction in a very brief manner, and they will put most of their efforts in answering the second part of the answer, which is uh, second part of the question, which is discuss the importance of ethics in corporate governance. So that approach should be avoided. You have to give equal importance, 50% to the first part and 50% to the second part. This is how you have to structure your answer and divide your answer. So I hope this approach is clear to you. Now let us go through the blueprint that you have to follow while writing your answer. So you have to divide your answer into introduction, body, and conclusion. So you have so basically yesterday somebody was asking in the comment section, sir, do we have to write the answer in the form of paragraph or in the form of points? So I would suggest you to write your answer in the form of points. That this has been the standard approach that we have been following since past years, and I have concluded this answer on the basis of my experience and the experience of those who have got the selection in the exam. So they have followed the same approach by writing in the point wise manner. So follow this approach only. I hope the doubt is clear to you. So coming back to the blueprint, so how you have to address the introduction should be around 10 to 12% of the total word limit, and the same amount of word limit should be dedicated to the conclusion part also, and the rest of the word limit should be allocated to the body part. And you have to write your body in the form of the headings and the subheadings, and under these subheadings what you are going to do, you are going to write your relevant points that have to be substantiated based on the relevant data, facts, and examples. So I hope this is clear to you. We discuss it in all our sessions. So now let us move on to the next part, which is the breaking down of the answer. So you can divide your answer into introduction, body part 1, body part 2, and the conclusion. If you have understood the keywords, then the breaking down the body is not going to be a problem for you, because our first keyword was the feature of ethics, where we are writing about what do we think about the ethics, and next we are writing about the importance of ethics in corporate governance. So that's how we are dividing our body part, and the introduction is talking about, let me erase the ink first. Introduction is talking about both ethics and corporate governance. Now this is also, you have to make sure that when you're writing the introduction, try to write the broader perspective. It's like the snapshot of the answer. Yesterday when we discussed the question with respect to MSME, what I had suggested you, that while writing your introduction, write something about MSME, and then also connect your introduction with the exports of MSME, because the second part of the question was asking about the exports. Though I had missed that part in my introduction, but I had suggested you that I had missed that part. So you have to write that export part also. Just give it a small touch. Do not elaborate too much. Otherwise, you will, you will miss this word limit. You will not be able to follow this word limit of 10 to 12% that I have given you. So the approach is that try to address the broader perspective of the question in the introduction. So introduction, we are talking about both ethics as well as the corporate governance, and not in an elaborative manner, just in a brief manner, and which highlights the uh, question, what has been asked in the question. And the last part is of course the conclusion. We are going to see it later. Now before starting the introduction, let me just give you a brief background regarding the ethics. How do we understand ethics? So I will make you understand with the help of an example. Suppose you are a manufacturer. Let us say you are an industrialist and you want to expand your business, and you are opening a manufacturing establishment. Now while opening this manufacturing industry in a new area, let's take the example of India. Now in India, there is a rule of environmental impact assessment. I'm not going to get into details. Environmental impact assessment means before establishing any factory, what you have to do, you have to get this EIA approval from the country, from the regulatory bodies. That will, and this EIA approval makes sure that this manufacturing factory is not going to have any harmful effects on the area where you are establishing it. So this is what EIA approval means, which means environmental impact assessment approval. So you are facing a lot of hurdles with respect to getting this EIA approval in that area. So now you are having two dilemmas. The first dilemma is whether to follow the path of corruption, and what you can do, you can give some bribe to the officers that are there in that area, and you can ask them to ignore this EIA, because you know that if EIA will be done, then what will happen, you will not be able to get the approval, or in case even if you get the approval, the establishment of factory will get delayed. So that is the first option that you have, the first dilemma. The second dilemma is that you are going to follow the path of honesty, and what you are going to do, you are going to ask for, you are going to the formal procedure of environmental impact assessment. Apart from that, what you are doing, you are interacting with the local communities about your establishment, that you are going to establish a factory and so consequences to be there. The point is that this is a good path and this is a bad path. Now what will happen, what part are you going to decide out of this one and the two? So write in the chat box which path are you going to choose, the path of corruption or the path of honesty. You are going to follow the legal procedure or you are going to skip it. Write in the comment box just one or two. So if you are going to choose the first path, that means you are going to follow the unethical path. If you are going to follow the second path, it means you are going to follow the ethical part. Now what does it mean, what we are doing, what this whole process is doing? This whole process is defining a certain standard in the society. What we are doing, let me change the ink. We are defining a standard in a society that if you will follow the part 2, then what will happen, you are an ethical individual, and if you are following the path 1, then what are you, you are an unethical individual. What we are doing, we are defining a certain standard in the society. And let me tell you that this defining of standard in the society that guide our behavior is nothing but ethics. This is the more simplistic explanation of ethics. So let me erase the ink and we'll understand. So ethics means the set of standards that the society sets to guide our behavior. I hope the handwriting is clear to you. So set of standards that the society sets to guide our behavior. So if you follow the X path, then you are an ethical person. If you follow Y path, you will not be an ethical person. So this defining of standard is nothing but ethics. So we are going to understand it by when we'll talk about our answer. So these standards can be set whether at the personal level, I mean, not at the personal level, sorry, otherwise it will be morality. I'm not going to get into details of morality. This standards can be set at the societal level or at the professional level, etc. So in different fields, this society can be set up, whether it can be done by a society or by an organization at the professional level. So this is what we mean by ethics. Now, when we talk about the principle of ethics in the corporate governance, so corporate governance means, as the name suggests, corporate governance means governing the corporate. So these are nothing but these are the rules, practices, and procedures by a company which directs its control, that the how the company is going to be governed, and the objective of the corporate governance is the transparency and maintaining the transparency and integrity in the company. So what will happen when we will introduce to ethics to the principle of corporate governance, and what will happen when the ethics is missing from this practice of corporate governance from a corporate? So this is what we are going to understand in this lecture. We are going to understand the importance of ethics in the corporate governance, but we will do it in a step-by-step manner. So let me start with the introduction about where we will define what is ethics. What is ethics? So ethics refers to a set of moral principles or values that govern individuals' behavior and guide their decisions about what is right or wrong. So it is a set of moral values or principles that govern individuals, what is right or wrong. So what we are doing, we are defining what is ethics. Next, what we can do, we can write something about corporate governance also, because the second part of the answer is asking about the corporate governance. So corporate governance defines the structure and process through which companies are directed and controlled, aiming to achieve transparency, accountability, and fairness in decision making. So we are addressing both part of the question. And now what we can write? We can write a connecting line that merges both these concepts and completes our introduction. So third point that you can write it in the third point that you can write is the in the corporate realm where decisions often have far-reaching consequences, the adherence to ethical standard is paramount. So are you getting how we are designing an introduction? First, we are introducing you with the ethics part, then the corporate governance part, then we are merging these two concepts and writing that in the corporate sector, where decisions have far-reaching consequences, the adherence to ethical standards is paramount. So this is how we are showing the importance of ethics in the corporate realm and in the corporate sector, in the corporate governance, and that's how we are designing our introduction. I hope the introduction part is clear to you. You can write your own version of introduction also, which I would appreciate. And I would encourage you to write the introduction in your own words so that you can learn more and more from your answers. So I hope this is clear to you. Now let us move on to the second part where we will talk about the features of ethics. And I will try to make this session as interactive as possible. So the first is the the first feature of ethics is the moral principles. So ethics encompass moral principles that guide behavior and decision making, including concepts such as honesty, integrity, fairness, and accountability. Now, how ethics guide our behavior? I will explain it in a very concise manner, otherwise the video will become very lengthy. So there are four things. The first thing is the belief. So beliefs are, the ideas that you hold to be true. Beliefs do not require any certain type of explanation. For example, you say, my lucky number is 7. You do not require any reasoning or explanation in order to consider it as your belief. So the first thing is belief. When the beliefs are endured for a long time, when they are practiced and believed for a long time, then what they get converted into? They get converted into the values. So values are nothing but they are long enduring beliefs. So for example, if you think that killing animals is a wrong thing, so what values you will attain? You will get the values of vegetarian. You will think that you will start believing for a long time that killing animals is a wrong task, so a wrong action. So what we will do, it we will transform into vegetarian. So this is nothing but you will get certain type of value with respect to that. If you believe that uh, speaking lie is a wrong habit, is a wrong practice, what you will do, you will get this value of honesty. So long enduring belief are values. Now when we start acting towards a certain value, what get it transformed into? It transformed into attitude. And when we will get a certain attitude towards a certain situation, what it will get transformed into? It will transform into behavior, and later on your behavior will transform into your character. Sorry for the bad handwriting, but I think I'm writing whatever I'm saying, so it should be, you should be able to understand it. So that's how belief get converted into value, value get converted into attitude, attitude get converted into behavior. So if our belief is ethical, our value is also going to be ethical, our attitude is also going to be ethical, and our behavior, it is also going to be ethical. That's how, starting from the belief, how ethics define your behavior. This is what this point is all about, that ethics, the first feature of ethics is the moral principles, and that's how you can write your answer. You can elaborate it a bit if you are running short of word limit, but I don't think it will happen. So what you can do, you can write in a very precise manner, and apart from that, you can give a certain example. I've discussed example for you, and but make sure that you write it in a word limit. That's why I've given you 400 words only, so that even after having so much of knowledge, you are in a position to optimize your content. So that's the approach. The second is the logical justification. So ethics is based on the logical justification of human actions, providing a reasoned framework for determining what is morally right or wrong. By providing a coherent framework for ethical reasoning, ethics helps individuals and society navigate complex moral dilemmas and strive towards morally responsible behavior. This point I've already explained you when we talked about the ethics, when we talked about ethics as a standard that has been defined by the society. So if the society said this is right and this is wrong, so what we with respect to the ethics, then what we are doing, we are defining the ethics. I mean, we are giving the logical justification of human actions, which is a part of ethics. So what ethics lead to? It leads to the logical justification of human actions in order to face the dilemmas, in order to choose a one path out of dilemmas. So I hope this point is clear to you. Now here is an example. For example, this company, I have already given you this example, that the decision of a company to invest in sustainable energy technologies, citing both environmental benefits and long-term financial viability, demonstrates logical justification for business. So what this company is doing, a company is balancing the environment, also the development part. So this is nothing but an ethical way of doing things, an ethical business practice which defines the logical justification. The third point is a normative nature. Now, what do we mean by normative nature? Let me explain you very briefly. So there are basically two types of nature. The first nature is, the approach in ethics is the descriptive approach. And the second approach is the normative approach. So descriptive approach is nothing but, as the name suggests, descriptive approach means describing something. Suppose if you go to a park, here is a park, and you are saying a lot of people are there. People are helping each other. They are loving each other. They are doing different kind of activities. But what you are doing, you are just observing them and maybe writing it in your diary. This is nothing but descriptive approach. So descriptive approach means describing how people actually behave when they face with the moral dilemmas. So if a person is taking a certain set of action while facing a moral dilemma and you are describing it, but you are not doing something from your side, you are just describing it. So this is nothing but descriptive approach. What is normative approach? Normative approach means laying down the rules and regulations with respect to what people should do and what people should not do in certain situations. So for example, you are going to the same park and you are the owner of the park, let's say, and you are defining the rules that people should help each other, or maybe people should follow the path of honesty. People should not kill animals. Just random example, that basically what you are doing, you are setting the rules and the guidelines in the society. You are setting the norms in the society. Unlike the descriptive approach, in the descriptive approach, what you were doing, you were just describing the situations. You were not doing anything from your side. But in case of normative approach, what you are doing, you are putting efforts. You are laying down the rules and the guidelines, what a person should do and what a person should not do. So this is nothing but the normative approach. And this is what ethics is all about. Ethics concerns what ought to be done rather than what is the case. So what ought to be done means ethics talk about what people should do. So this is nothing but the normative approach. And it is not about what is the case. This is nothing but the descriptive approach. So ethics is not about what is happening in the society. Ethics talk about what people should do in order to follow the ethical part with respect to what has been happening in the society. So it does not follow the descriptive approach, it follows the normative approach. So this is the explanation part. So I hope the approach is clear to you. I've explained it in a detailed manner, that what ought to be done means the normative part, and what is the case, what is the situation is the descriptive part. So ethics is about what ought to be done. So let me show you the example. So the passing of laws prohibiting discrimination in the workplace reflects society's normative shift towards equality and fairness. For example, in your office, a sexual harassment case is happening in front of you. Somebody is doing sexual harassment to one of the employees and you are just watching it. What is it? It is descriptive approach. You are not doing anything, just watching it and noting it in your diary, just doing the observation part. But there is another person, what he is doing, he files the complaints. So he files a complaint to the police or to the higher authorities, and the authorities takes action towards it, and that leads to some ethical conclusion. So what is this? This is the normative approach, and this is what is the approach of ethics. So that's it, why we say that ethics has a normative nature. Another example is a parent instructing their child to apologize for wrongdoing, illustrate normative expectations. So parent is, what parents are doing, they are instructing the child if he's doing something wrong. So what parents are doing, they are setting a certain norm in the house. So this is nothing but the normative nature of the ethics. So I hope this approach is clear to you. Please write down in the chat box whether these things are clear to you or not, so that I can explain whatever you're not able to understand. The next is ethics as a science of conduct. Why we call ethics as a science of conduct? Because ethics involves systemic inquiry and analysis of a certain situation. For example, choosing to boycott companies with unethical labor practices and the environmental records. What does it mean? That we are doing a lot of introspection, we are doing a lot of inquiry in a conscious manner, in an active manner. So this is nothing but, this explains ethics as a science of conduct. Another example can be the example of plagiarism. What happens in case of plagiarism? You copy certain material content, you all know that. So it can be an example of ethics as a science of conduct, because we are doing a lot of systemic inquiry, analysis and introspection, and on the basis of that we are taking the decision after certain examination. So this is what we mean by ethics as a science of conduct. The next is ethics, feature of the means and ends. So we all know how ethics defines the means and ends. Means means the path, ends means the goal. For example, the concepts like satya and ahimsa, which means truth and non-violence, emphasize the importance of ethical meanings to achieve ethical ends. Another example can be, if there is a student and he has two ways to pass the exam. The first path is the cheating, and the second path is doing the hard work. The consequences of cheating, so cheating and hard work, what are these? These are the means. And what could be the possible ends? The consequences of cheating could be that he could get caught and his exam could get cancelled. He can get restricted from the school. And the consequences of hard work is that either he will score less marks, but whatever marks he will get it through hard work and honesty, and tomorrow he will be proud of it. The second part is that with doing hard work he can score more marks and can excel in his field. So these are the two type of ends that can be concluded because of ethics. So that's how ethics, another feature is of that, it addresses both means and ends of the actions, and recognizing their inseparable relationship. So I hope this is clear to you. The next is defining the human actions. Now when we talk about ethics, there are two type of actions that the ethics distinguishes or differentiates. The first is human actions, and the second is actions by humans. These are two different terms. Sorry for the bad handwriting, but I think you are able to read it. Let me write it again for those of you who complain about my handwriting. So human actions and actions by humans. So what do you mean by human actions? Okay, first let me tell you actions by humans. So actions by humans means the actions that were done by humans in an involuntary manner. I mean, whenever a person does this action by humans, whenever he performs this action, then he has no control over this action. For example, the blinking of eyes. Do you have any control when you blink your eyes? I mean, when you do it in an unintentional manner, it happens accidentally, your eyes get blinked. Do you have any control over that? The answer is no. Then your heartbeat. Do you have any control over your heartbeat? The answer is no. Third, for example, some people have this habit of walking in sleep. When they sleep, they start walking, and they have this, not a habit, but it's a problem. Sorry for saying habit, but they have this problem of walking in sleep. So do they have any control over it in a voluntary manner? The answer is no. So what are these? These are the actions by humans. Now, can you consider a person as ethical and unethical on the basis of action by humans? Answer me yes or no. Can we call somebody if he's walking in sleep, or he's pushing somebody accidentally? You are going, walking on a path, maybe on a road, and you push someone accidentally. So can you say that that person has done an unethical action? Please tell me yes or no. Harsh Sharma is writing no. Arpita is also writing no. Yes. So we cannot call call these actions as the unethical actions. But what about the human actions? Human actions are those actions which you do voluntarily. It means you are doing it out of your will after having, complete knowledge about the task. For example, the drunk and drive case. You know the consequences, that if you will drink, if you will booze, an accident can happen. So what is this? Can you call it an irresponsible behavior? I'm very sorry, I think I clicked some wrong option, but I think you have got the point. You can rewind the video. So can you call that person, can you call that action as an unethical action? The answer is yes. You are doing it in an irresponsible manner. For example, the domestic violence. Is it an unethical action? Yes, because you know that you are doing it in a voluntary manner, in out of will. You have a complete knowledge that doing this is wrong, and you are still doing it. So this is nothing but the human actions. So this is another feature of ethics, that is distinguishes between the human actions and the actions by humans. So I've already told you that ethics can distinguish between the human actions which are done consciously and the actions by humans which may not be done willfully or consciously. So an example that I've already told you, that it differentiates between deliberate human actions like pushing someone intentionally in a crowd, and unintentional actions by humans like accidentally bumping into someone. So this is an example that where the ethics differentiate between the human action and actions by humans. So I hope it is clear to you. So we are done with the second part, which is body part 2. Now let us go through the body part 1. Now let us go through the second part, which is the body part 2, that is importance of ethics in the corporate governance. So the first importance is, these points are very easy. So what I will do, I will try to make this session as interactive as possible. So what is the importance of ethics in corporate governance? The first is building trust. So tell me an example. Do you know any organization in India that whenever you hear the name of that organization, you start building trust? I mean, you follow that organization only because of trust, because that organization has done something ethical in the past, and that's why you follow that brand or that organization in your daily life. So tell me, can you name any such organization, an example? I'm waiting for your answers, because this is a very easy question. Okay, Harsh Sharma has written Tata. Excellent example, Harsh. Okay, everybody is writing Tata. Anant is also writing Tata. Mrinali is also writing Tata. So the first question that strikes, okay, Tarun Joshi is writing RBI. Tarun, RBI is not a corporate. It is a public body. I mean, it's a Central Bank of India. I'm talking about corporate. So RBI would not fall into that category. Shalin is also a Tata Sons. So similarly, when I was preparing this slide, so the first example that struck in my mind was also Tata. So I've also written a Tata Group. Why we think the Tata Group, we consider Tata Group as an example of ethics in corporate governance because of their policies such as the Tata Code of Conduct, their philanthropy, the image, the personality that Mr. Ratan Tata has. That's why we consider it as that is fosters a trust and benefits the whole community. So this is the explanation. Explanation is very easy. I don't even need to explain it. It builds a trust between stakeholders, including shareholders, employee, customers, broader community. So when stakeholders believe that a company operates with integrity and honesty, they are more likely to engage with that company and support its endeavors. So I hope you got this point. So what we are doing, we are connecting this ethics as a part of answer writing. What we are doing, we are connecting this ethics with the corporate governance part, because corporate governance emphasizes a lot on the stakeholders that are attached to the company. For example, the employees of the company, the shareholders of the company, the consumers of that company, and the owners of that company. So there are different stakeholders, I mean, sorry for the bad handwriting, but whatever I'm speaking, I'm writing that. So, in order to, consume less time in writing in such a way, but I think you can understand it. So, I hope this point is clear to you. The second is the risk management. So, can you name any company that has compromised, with its value? I mean, because of not following the ethical part, what they have done, they failed to do the risk management and have suffered the wrong consequences. Can you name any company which has faced the negative consequences because of the improper risk management? I mean, because of not following the ethical part, they failed to do risk management. I'm giving you 30 seconds. Kingfisher. Anand Saurabh, very good answer. That's a nice answer. Paytm Payment Bank. Tarun Joshi, you are again writing the government body. We are talking about the corporate governance. We are talking about corporates. Okay, payment bank. Okay, Paytm Payment Bank. Fine. Paytm Payment Bank. I mean, if you talk about Paytm as a corporate, so under it we can call Paytm Payment Bank. Fine. That is a good example. Okay, Sandeep Kumar Byju's. Excellent example, Sandeep. Anil Ambani Reliance. Anil Ambani Reliance. Okay. Paytm. Yes, Paytm it can be considered as an example. They failed to do risk management. Okay. Now let us see the explanation part. And yes. So ethical corporate governance practices help identify and mitigate risk associated with legal and financial issues. These points are very easy, that if somebody is not following the ethical path in the corporate governance, that what will happen, it will eventually lead to risk. For example, you must have heard about the example that I have written is the Satyam Corporation Service Accounting Scandal, the Satyam scandal. So it was an IT company that did the financial mismanagement, the accounting mismanagement that led to this scandal, and it faced the consequences. And later on, this company was shut down and it was acquired by a bigger company. So let us not get into the detail, but the point is that the importance of ethics is that it helps you in risk management. If you follow an ethical part, then what you are doing the risk management, because you are reducing the risk of the legal and financial issues or the proceedings that you may face in future. So this is regarding the risk management. The third is the reputation. Can you write any example, a name of the company that suffered its reputation because of not following the ethical part? Can you write any such example regarding the reputation of a company? Please be quick. The video is getting very lengthy, I think. I don't know कितना टाइम हो गया इसे. Okay, 37 minutes हो गए हैं. Fine. ITC Maggie case. Yes, that's a good example. The Maggie case, where the Maggie was, they were doing certain dilutions with their product by adding some chemicals into it. Sahara. Yes, Sahara is also a good example. Okay, everybody is writing Sahara. Yes, Sahara is a good example. You must have seen the Netflix series. Uh, I don't recall, not able to remember the name of this web series, but they showed about Sahara. Patanjali. Yes, Patanjali can be considered an example. How they have compromised with their brand values because of, following the unethical part. It was there in the news. Okay, now let us see what we have in the slides. So ethical behavior enhances a company's reputation, which is valuable intangible asset. A strong reputation attracts investors, customers, top talent, also mitigating the negative impact of any potential crisis or controversies. Again, an easy portion. See, the thing about this management part is that why I'm today, discussing this part related to answer writing practice, because answer writing practice is the most important part of this subject. This subject is very easy. Everybody will be able to prepare it. But how you are delivering the knowledge, whether you are writing or substantiating your points in example or not, that's where you are going to make the difference in the exam also. So that's why we are discussing it. So this point, see, this point is very easy. Anybody can write it in the exam. But is that person writing the example or not, that's where we make the difference. I have written the example of the Kingfisher Airlines. We all know about the Vijay Mallya, how their operations got seized and their reputation got destroyed because of the financial mismanagement, unsustainable expansion, and unpaid dues to employees and creditors. So This is an example. Another example is employee engagement and retention. So what the ethical organizations also do is they, I mean, what the following the path of ethics in the corporate and the retention. So I hope you would agree with this point. For example, you have seen the example of Tata, the Mahindra, any such company that provides the quality, and what does it lead to? It leads to employee engagement and the retention. The retention rate among the consumers is high in that aspect. The fourth point is okay, the fifth point is the stakeholder satisfaction. So the ethical corporate governance take into account the interest of all stakeholders. So for example, the stakeholders that we have talked about, the stakeholder, the employees, the owners, the shareholders, the consumers, all the stakeholders are happy. For example, if we talk about the Google, so Google, for instance, they offer benefits to their employees such as the on-site wellness centers, the parental leaves, the professional growth opportunities, all those things. Such type of benefits are provided to the employees. For example, in our EduTap also, what we have is in our EduTap, what we have is we give certificate of appreciation to the employees. Every month we do this activity. Anybody who is doing good work, no matter at what position he is, whether he's the support staff, in the marketing staff, or in the content team, what we do is we give them certificate of appreciation. This is a good conduct. This conduct leads to? This conducts lead to the employee engagement. Employees stay happy. They have certain targets to meet in a month, and that's how, if the company is following the ethical part in the corporate governance, that's how it helps in the retention rate and the engagement. And the stakeholder satisfaction. This gives the satisfaction to their employee and spreads positivity in the organization and eventually improves its productivity. The last is the competitive advantage. So can you tell me any company that has gained a lot of competitive advantage because of the ethical path, because of following the ethical path? Can you name any such company? Okay, so Tarun Joshi is writing Google, Johnson and Johnson. Um, Shalini, you have written the Johnson and Johnson, though they would have done something ethical in their organization, but recently they were in the news because they did some scam or some unethical activity with respect to their products. I'm not able to recall what were the products. There were some medical products with which they did something unethical. So the point is that do not just write the name of the organization straightforwardly in the exam. I mean, it's okay if you are writing in the chat box, but the point is that also give the explanation with respect to what you are calling that organization, an ethical organization. I mean, in one way, an organization could be unethical, but in other way, it could be ethical also. So both the parts are there, ethical and unethical. So you have to write, you have to address why do you think that organization is ethical or unethical in that aspect. So OpenAI for ChatGPT. Okay, Tarun, you are writing ChatGPT, but we are talking about the ethical thing, not about some innovative technological advancement. We are talking about how the ethics had helped in the corporate governance. So you are writing about ChatGPT. It has a competitive edge, but how the ethics is playing the role in the competitive edge, that you have to address. So do not deviate from the demand of the answer, the point that you have to write. So Reliance for Geo competitive. Again, Tarun, you are writing about Geo, the competitive, but the thing is that you have to write how the ethics is helping us to become it a competitive organization. Shalini is writing baby food cereals. Yes, that could be an example that baby food cereals, the company, I think yesterday also, only, not yesterday, but in today's newspaper, it was in the news how the baby food cereals, I think there was an example of Nestle. Shalini, very good example if you are giving it as a part of current affairs. In today's newspaper only, there was a news related to Nestle where the government has taken a strict action against Nestle that manufactures Maggie also and also their baby food products. So what the Nestle is doing, Nestle is giving they are adding they have increased the sugar levels in their products, in their baby cereals product, which are not healthy for the babies. So this is an example of the unethical practice with respect to the Nestle. So what example I have written? Okay, I have written the example of Amul. Nobody has given this example in the chat box, but this is a very good example how Amul has created this competitive advantage by following the ethical part. How the ethical part? By maintaining the quality of their products, and it is giving good, it is providing us with good quality of milk, butter, curd, and all those milk products. So that's why the Amul has got that competitive advantage. If you have two brands in front of you, Amul or something XYZ, then you are most preferably, I mean, going to choose Amul because it has a reputation, and that's how it has gained the competitive advantage in the market. So now we are done with the part. The last part is not the importance of ethics, but the conclusion. So Nestle adding sugar in baby food. Yes, Sandeep, this is what I have explained. Nestle adding sugar in baby products. So, are you understanding? This is an example what the practice that we are doing, how we are connecting our static part with the current affair part. So this is an example how you have to link your how you have to use the information that is given in the newspaper in your answers, how you have to use the current affair part in your static part as a value addition. This is a live example of that, this Nestle example, that today what we have read in the newspaper, how we are using that information in the newspaper in our answer in order to substantiate our arguments. So I think it's been 46 minutes. So let me just go through the conclusion very quickly. So the usual approach that we follow, that what we have to do, we have to divide our conclusion into the conclusion starter, then the explanation of starter, and later on the way forward. In the starter, what we are going to rephrase the thesis that has been mentioned in the question by taking a certain stand with respect to that thesis. So in the explanation part, what we are going to do, we are going to give the explanation, the why part of the starter, why we think that we agree with that stand that has been given in the question, why have we have chosen the thesis, or why we are addressing that our first line of the conclusion in that manner, and later on the way forward. So let us see how we can implement these three things. So the first is the starter. So ethics in the corporations are indispensable for fostering integrity, trust, and the accountability. So what we are doing, we are saying that it is indispensable because the question is regarding that discuss the importance of ethics in corporate governance and what is ethics. So what we are doing, we are again integrating both parts of the question in the first line itself. So ethics in it is indispensable for fostering the integrity, trust, and accountability. Then why do we think so? The second part, they go beyond legal compliance, reflecting a commitment to responsible business practices and social well-being. So this is the second part. Why do we think ethics is indispensable in corporations? Because it reflects commitment to responsible business practices and societal well-being. Now we have addressed the second part also. The third part is the way forward part. So what is the way forward? That what we need to do in future. So moving forward, embedding embedding ethics in corporate governance requires uh, leadership commitment, transparency, and ongoing education. So these are the three things where we have to focus upon. And what will happen because of that, by integrating ethical considerations into the operations, company can create value not only for shareholders but also for society as whole. So not only we are satisfying the shareholders, but we are satisfying the whole society and contributing not only to the nation but at the global level. Because if all the corporations will start following the ethical part, what we will have, we will follow the principle of Vasudev Kutumbakam, which means the whole world is a one family, and we will, grow as a at a global level. All the nations and as a society, we will grow at a global level. So this is how you can write your introduction, we can write your conclusion, you can even improvise it in your own words. Now there is a tip of the day. So the tip of the day is relation between problem and solution. So one tip that I would like to give you today is by analyzing your answers in the comment. What a lot of students are doing is that what they are doing is, if they will write the problems related to a certain topic, the certain question, then after that when they will write the solutions, then there is no connection between the problems and the solutions. They will write some different problems and the solutions are going to be different. So avoid this practice. I mean, it's okay if you are doing it for 1 to 2 points, but I've gone through the comments, and what a lot of students are doing, their problems are different and the solutions of that problem are totally different. This is the approach that you have to avoid. Try to make sure that whatever problems you are writing, the solutions are the solutions are with respect to that problem. In addition to that, what you can do, you can write any extra points as a part of the solution if you want to. I mean, if your word limit, you know it gives you that flexibility, but prefer to write in such a manner. There should be a connection between the answer and the, I mean, the challenges and the solution with respect to that. So this is the question for today, that you have to write within 400 words and 10 marker. And again, the evaluation is free of cost. So we have discussed everything, and thank you so much and all the best.